Hi there, I'm Simon Canton, and this is my review of Nightblade by Garrett Robinson. So, follows Lauren, who's a forester's daughter, who's heard stories of this legendary thief her whole life, and she decides that she wants to run away from home and become a thief. And one day she sees someone running from the constables while she's out working, and she decides that this is her way out of her life as a forester's daughter and runs after him. So it's a fantasy book, and it's different from a lot of fantasy in that it doesn't follow anyone who's going to change the world or conquer armies or anything like that. It's following someone who's got she's got a dream of being this amazing legendary thief, but obviously the stories she's following are complete hokum. He robs from the rich and gives to the poor and all the rest of it. So I enjoyed this book very much. I had a couple of issues with it, but on the whole, I enjoyed it a lot. So I'll go into my issues first, I guess. So the first issue I had was that it's told in very clunky, old-fashioned-y kind of English, which, and not even like as it would have been a couple of hundred years ago, but like, you know, faux old-fashioned English, which kind of put a block, for me at least, between me and the story. If it was told in normal modern English, I would have enjoyed it more. And the other thing that I had a problem with in the book was that it had a very, very big dip in the middle. So the first couple of episodes are amazing, like really, really zip along, lots of action, and a lot of, like, a very vivid world and vivid characters, and everyone's realistic and everything. And then Lauren gets to Cabras, which is the city, and she's there for the remaining 6 episodes, so 60,000 words or so, and she's kind of got vague goals while she's there. She wants to be a thief, so she starts trying to track down people who are thieves. But there's a lot of kind of faffing around when she gets to the city. So that kind of, I don't know, put a big stop on the action. So the first 2 episodes were everything was life or death. And then everything is Lauren trying to follow her dreams for a while. And there's some kind of mild peril for a while that then escalates towards the end. So probably about episode 7 and 8 are really up at the top, high action again, and really thrilling. So there's probably about 4 episodes in the middle which were kind of a sag in the middle of the story. So it went from very high level in 1 and 2 down a bit, like, not like it got a little bit boring. Like, it wasn't terrible, it just wasn't at the level that it had been before, and then it rose up again at the end. So by the time I finished reading the whole book, I was like, oh great, I'm looking forward to Mystic, which is coming out soon. So yeah, so the fantasy itself, I like the fact that Lauren isn't changing the world. She's not a chosen one. All she's trying to do is be a thief, and she's not very good at that. She's kind of naive and clueless and doesn't know what she's doing. So that's good. I do like that. And the characters and the world that Garrett Robinson has built in the story are very, very you can see everything around you. It works very, very well. The one thing, like the issue I think about the sag in the middle is that it's maybe down to a style thing. So I used to have this boss who really loved westerns from the 50s. And he said that the problem with modern westerns is that a western in the 50s, a guy would say to his wife in the house, I'm going to go into town. And then he'd walk out the door, he'd close the door, he'd walk over to his horse, he'd grab his saddle, he'd put his saddle on the horse, he'd put his bridle on the horse, he'd get on the horse, he'd ride off down the dirt track, he'd ride along the dirt track, he'd get into town, he'd tie up his horse, he'd walk up to the saloon doors, he'd push his way in, and then he was in the bar. And a modern western, the guy would say, I'm going into town to get a drink. And then he walks out the door, and the next thing he's walking in the saloon door. So, for me at least, I would prefer the second. I don't need to see him walking along or walking his horse along the dirt road and all that kind of stuff. I think that's quite boring. But some people really like a slow pace. So that would, if you do like that more, then there's a lot of places where Garrett is telling you everything that Lauren's doing. So if you do want to know all that stuff, then it may suit you better. But overall, I did really enjoy the start and the end of the book. And the middle, as I'm saying, it was a little bit boring, but not like the worst thing in the world boring. I still kept reading. I didn't give up. So I give it 4 stars out of 5, which is 5 out of 5 on Amazon, meaning that I really liked it. Thanks very much for watching.